What if one small beach town could take you to hidden lagoons, towering limestone cliffs, wild monkeys, and some of the most beautiful islands in Thailand? We are Wildlings and Waypoints. Come with us as we explore Anong, Railay Beach, and Hong Island, all from one incredible base. Anong is a beach town in Thailand's Andaman Coast in Krabi province, and it's one of the easiest places to use as a base for exploring the surrounding islands and beaches. The town stretches along a single beachfront road filled with restaurants, travel sand shops, and longtail boats waiting along the shoreline. Most travelers stay here because it makes island hopping incredibly simple, and because it's lively while still being relaxed. One of the reasons Anong worked really well for our trip was the place we stayed. We chose Sabai Hotel Anong, and it turned out to be a great option for traveling with kids. Our room had a large bed for the parents and bunk beds for the kids, which made it easy for everyone to have their own space without needing two separate rooms. When you're traveling as a family, simple things like this can make a big difference. And being located right in Anong meant it was easy to walk to restaurants, the beach, and long-tail boats that take you out to the islands. Anong itself had its own little pleasures too. One of our favorite stops was for ice cream. In Thailand, ice cream often comes served inside a fresh coconut shell. Later that evening, we tried something else Thailand is famous for: foot massages. You'll see massage shops everywhere in Anong. And after spending the day walking, swimming, and exploring, a relaxing foot massage is a pretty perfect way to end the day. One of the most famous places near Anong is Railay Beach, but despite being only a short distance away, you can't drive there. Massive limestone cliffs cut Railay off from the mainland, so the only way to reach it is by boat. The good news is you don't need to take a tour. You simply go down to the end of the main street to where the tourist information shop is and buy a ticket. After you get your ticket, you cross the street to where the longboats are and hop on one, and as soon as it's full, they'll take off. And it usually doesn't take long for the boat to fill up. Within minutes, we were cruising across the bay with limestone cliffs rising all around us. It's a short ride, but it feels like an adventure. These traditional wooden boats with their long propeller shafts are the main form of transportation along this coast. Railay Beach feels almost like an island, even though it technically isn't. It is surrounded by cliffs and there's no roads connecting it to the mainland, which gives the whole area a relaxed, secluded feel. The beach itself is stunning. Soft sand, clear water, and dramatic limestone towers rising straight out of the shoreline. But Railay is famous for something else too: rock climbing. These towering limestone cliffs aren't just beautiful, they're one of the best rock climbing destinations in the entire world. You'll often see climbers scaling the vertical walls high above the beach. Even if you're not climbing yourself, it's pretty amazing to watch. A short footpath connects East Railay to West Railay, winding through limestone cliffs, tropical trees, and small cafes. It only takes a few minutes to walk, but it feels like stepping through a tiny jungle village hidden between the beaches. One of my favorite things about this path was the wildlife you encounter along the way, especially the monkeys. We saw several long-tailed macaques moving along the cement wall beside the path, almost like it was their own little highway. And every once in a while, you might spot one of the large lizards that live around Railay. We actually saw one slowly making its way to the edge of the trees near the beach. These are Asian water monitors, and despite its impressive size, they usually just mind their own business. Beyond the beach and the cliffs, Railay has a small collection of shops, cafes, and restaurants tucked between the trees. As we walk through, we stop for some of the rolled ice cream that you often see in Thailand. It's made on a freezing cold metal plate, spread thin, and then scraped into little rolls right in front of you. It is as fun to watch being made as it is to eat. In the area of the shops, we noticed a striking black and white bird sitting in the trees nearby. It had an enormous yellow beak that was hard to miss. It turned out to be an oriental pied hornbill. Just after we spotted the hornbill, we noticed some monkeys high in the trees nearby. These were dusky lingers, a much shyer species that tends to stay in the forest canopy. After spending some time exploring the beach, watching the climbers, and spotting some of the wildlife around Railay, it was time for us to head back. One of the nice things about the longtail boats here is that you don't have to wait for a specific one to arrive. Boats are constantly coming and going along the beach. You simply show your return ticket and they point you towards whichever boat is filling up at the moment. Before long, we were climbing back aboard for the short ride across the bay to Anong, leaving the cliffs of Railay behind us. The next day brought a whole new adventure and probably one of my favorites, a trip to Hong Island. For this experience, we joined a full-day island tour booked through Get Your Guide, which made the whole day very easy to organize. Their tour included pickup from our hotel in Anong, transportation by speedboat, and lunch during the day, so all we really had to do was show up and enjoy the experience. There are plenty of island tours available from Anong, but Hong Island is one of the most popular, and once you start heading out across the water, it's easy to see why. The boat ride itself is part of the experience. As you move out into the Andaman Sea, limestone karsts rise dramatically from the water in every direction. These towering formations are one of the defining features of Krabi coastline, and seeing them up close really gives you a sense of how unique this landscape is. Hong Island is part of the Thonbok Karani National Park, a protected area that helps preserve both the islands and the surrounding marine life. Our first stop was the main island of Koh Hong. The island itself is uninhabited, aside from wildlife such as white-faced gibbons, birds, and large monitor lizards that are sometimes seen moving through the forest. We didn't happen to spot any wildlife on land during our visit, but once we got into the water, there was plenty of marine life to see. One of the best parts of stopping at Koh Hong is simply getting into the water. The beach sits in a sheltered bay which keeps the water relatively calm and clear. The limestone cliffs surrounding the island make for a striking backdrop while you swim. The water stays shallow for quite a distance from shore, so it's easy to move around and explore. Even close to the beach, you can often see small fish moving through the clear water. After spending some time in the water, we decided to make the climb up to the Hong Island 360-degree viewpoint. The trail begins just behind the beach and leads up a series of 419 steps that winds their way through the forest and up the side of the limestone hill. The climb is fairly steady, and while it does take a little effort, the steps make the path manageable for most visitors. Along the way, the trees provide some welcome shade, and every so often you get a small opening where you can start to catch glimpses of the surrounding islands. As you get closer to the top, the views begin to open up even more. Eventually, the staircase leads to a wooden viewing platform perched high above the island. From here, you get the full 360-degree view of the surrounding seascape. Looking out across the water, you can see the dramatic limestone cliffs rising from the sea in every direction. These formations were created over millions of years ago, as rain and erosion slowly shaped the limestone into steep cliffs and towers that define this part of Thailand. From above, it also became much easier to see how the islands are scattered across the sea. Looking back towards the beach below, you can spot the small stretch of sand where the boats arrive and where visitors spend their time swimming and relaxing. The contrast between the dense green forest, the pale limestone cliffs, and the deep blue water makes the view from the top especially striking. While the climb up and then down again does require a bit of effort, the panoramic view from the top makes it so worth it. Another stop that we made during this adventure was to Pak Bia Island. Pak Bia Island is part of the same Hong Islands group, but it sits a short boat ride away from the main island. Pak Bia is a small island known for its shallow, clear water and beautiful sandbar. Depending on the tide, the sandbar can connect parts of the island and create wide stretches of sand that extend out into the sea. The water here is calm and relatively shallow, which makes it a great place to wade out and swim, or simply just relax and take in the scenery. Our final stop of the day, and I think perhaps my favorite, was to Lao Lading Island, a small limestone island with a sheltered beach surrounded by steep cliffs. The beach here is quiet with clear water and a dramatic limestone formation rising on both sides. This keeps the water calm usually, making it an ideal place to go swimming. While we were in the water, we could see schools of fish moving by. While we were here, my daughters got a little snackish, so they grabbed some roasted corn on the cob, which is a common street food that you'll find sold on the beaches and the markets throughout Thailand. The beach has a few other features to explore, most notably a small cave formation and a swing, both of which would make excellent photo opportunities. Over the course of the day, we have visited several different parts of Hong Island, from hidden lagoons and snorkeling spots to quiet beaches surrounded by towering limestone cliffs. But together they gave us a great introduction to the islands and to the scenery that makes this part of Southern Ireland so unique. Anong turned out to be a great base for exploring this part of southern Thailand. From the dramatic cliffs of Railay Beach to the islands of Andaman Sea, there's an incredible amount to see within just a short boat ride away, not to leave out the variety of delicious food and all of the places that you can get a foot massage after a long day of exploring. Thank you for joining us on Wildlings and Waypoints as we explored Anong, Railay Beach, and Hong Island. If you enjoyed this video, we'd love to have you follow along with us for more adventures, and tell us about your favorite Thailand adventure in the comments below.